Hi there. Hi there. Hi there. Hi there. Hi there. Welcome to Cromwell's Harbour. Welcome to Cromwell's Harbour. Welcome to Cromwell's Harbour. Welcome to Cromwell's Harbour. What am I doing? You know what? Let's try another person.
Hi there, welcome to Cromwell's Harbor.
That also did not look like it worked. Let's try one more person.
Hi there. Welcome to Cornwell's Harbour.
Yes. Welcome to Cromwell's Harbour. And so today we're going to be talking about something. I'll just let you know in advance. It's a very emotional episode, and it's the first one actually. So thank you for taking this step with me. And this episode is for you if you have been struggling with finding your voice in the midst of many voices. If you've been, just felt that inner drag where it just feels like there's something up, but you don't really know exactly where it's from, and you just be struggling to like face the real you or face the things that have been on your heart, or you just have been craving like somewhere to really express and to bring out the things that you feel on the inside. Actually, now that I think about it, this episode is for everybody. So yeah, welcome to the Cromwell's Harbour. And today we're going to be having a conversation on authenticity, my journey in it, and in the midst of it, I know definitely that you're going to be able to find and enjoy just living life through my lens as I give you my experience with this and how you yourself could work with that. So yeah, let's dig in. Conversation on authenticity, I would say I sort of picked it when it was. I would say it was a couple of things, right? So lately, brain, man, it's it's been a time. It's been a time. I was talking to a friend of mine and we're just having a conversation. I'm just talking about how you kind of need a tough skin to actually grow. And if you're someone who might say like maybe you have big dreams or you have, just maybe an unconventional path, you need a tough skin. And it sort of is why I understand a little bit why many of the people that do great things are very stubborn people or people that look like they don't really flinch, because like they kind of require that kind of toughness and strength to survive in a world with so many opinions of what you should be, what you should do, and all the likes. And so, for me, journey up until now has been sort of like just figuring out my own like process. And man, it's been a time. And so it's sort of like trying to like keep things that were sparks in your heart. And that's really what the journey has been for me. Trying to keep those sparks that have like at one point in my life like lit my heart up. And yeah, it's like life in itself can be a struggle to be authentic, even by people just being people, right? By you spending time with certain people and everybody just going their different routes, by you having to explain why you are choosing your own route, um, by just by life. Sometimes even people have good intentions. One of the things that many times people like might not necessarily have good intentions, like they might not necessarily see the things that are on the inside of you. And yeah, out of love, not everyone is love, but they share their good intentions. So out of, sheer naivety, just being innocent and cute, everybody doing their own thing, but it's almost like the foundations of your world like are just crumbling. And it's so hard to hold on to the things that have once like sparked in your heart. And it's like it's almost like you are trying so hard to keep parts of yourself. And so lately, like it's really just been a journey of trying to preserve the sparks in my heart, because I sort of look at life and I realized that when people started of like the journey of life, I noticed that a lot of people start either with a particular desire and all of a sudden like it looks like over a period of time, life happens and it kind of sets into this rhythm of what it means to live, right? And if you're someone who's a dreamer, or you don't even need to have a dream, to be honest, because life in itself is sadistic by nature. So just even keep your hope alive for like the regular things, like maybe having a blissful marriage or having like truly connected friendships, or just you like having a good body, like maybe working out, or it might just be having like a healthy mind or healing from hurts or whatever it might be. Really, life in itself kind of teaches you not to have those dreams. And so for me, it's been sort of like a process of trying to keep those things that were sort of like childish hopes and ambitions or dreams. And none of them, like most of them aren't necessarily like, oh, what I want to be. Sort of like even the kind of person that I saw myself as, right? And so it's been a journey of authenticity for me, of trying to hold on to the real me on some days. Like, how you even sure it's the real you? What exactly is the real you, right? And so I remember taking this walk and I was just thinking of everything. And I was praying. And at the point, I just really just had to just be authentic. And I was just like, God, should I be honest? Like, right now, it really feels like I'm trying so hard to hold on to my own savior. And I honestly would, like, I really want to be intimate with you. I want to be best friends with you. I want to be close to you. But it's hard to feel like I am helping my helper to help me. Yeah, helping my helper to help me. It's hard to feel that way. And I just had to just be authentic with myself, right? And authentic with God. And I think that there's no problem with that in and of itself. Because yeah, like I feel like authenticity is something that really helps any relationship whatsoever, like whichever relationship it might be, just being the real you. And I felt so much of a release from being able to say that, because for the longest of time, I think when you're a strong willed person, you could continue doing things for like a period of time, but you know it's not from your heart. And I don't think God designed us to work from our will alone, because everything that God has made, there's always that reward of a joy to it. Like when you sleep, it's comfortable. Even when you work out, actually, it's comfortable. Like there's a feel good feeling that you have at the back of things, and I feel like that's God's reward and God's fuel to us to continue doing things, to do things in a way that we enjoy, right? Enjoy them, and we do them not necessarily because this painstaking process, but it's because we sort of love it, we enjoy it. And so I just really just came clean, and I was like, God, like this doesn't feel like I want to have the most intimate relationship with you, but it feels like it's easier to be intimate with my friends than to be with you. And to be honest, I feel like still been a journey that I'm going through. And at the Cromwell's Harbor, I really don't want it to be like a space where you come and you hear this guy that knows everything and is telling you. To be honest, it's like a student talking to other students about things that he's learning and the things he's going through, right? So one thing that I've seen through the entire process of growing through all of this has just really been the fact that yeah, um, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to say those things, because that's really in the end, that's the only way to actually truly live from your heart and to enjoy things. It's better that we come clean as who we are, so that we can be loved, taught, and to learn things from our deepest parts, so that when we do things, we do them naturally. We're not doing them because we're trying to make things happen and all of that. Um, and so pretty much that's how that journey had been. And I think since that point, it had been a place of like how, first, I think one thing I picked from that entire experience was that authenticity heals. Like just being yourself is actually so therapeutic. Like just saying things as they are, how you feel them. It's actually so therapeutic, and it just heals. Like I feel like things just got better when I just realized that, that in itself was there. And I just also saw to an extent how I had settled into some rhythms of religion in some of the things that I was doing, or rhythms of like routine where you're just doing things because you do them, or this is just how we always do things, not necessarily because I understood the heart of it or I was following my heart. Like there's just a disjoint between what I knew in my head, what I was doing in my body, and what my heart really believed. And it's in that place of authenticity that all of them can line up. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything that you feel is true. It's just like, okay, so this is what I feel. And then you can now start to either teach yourself or to learn if you don't actually know what you need to know. And so really like um after that walk I just expressed, and it just felt lighter, I just felt more intimate. And I feel like that sort of helps in like our journey, just being at that place where you can just see things as they are. God, I know you are loved. Right now I don't feel loved. What's happening? Why don't I feel loved? Or, also in your relationships, hey, I know you love me, but honestly speaking, the way you respond to my mistakes doesn't feel like you love me. Um, or even your dreams. Like I know I'm meant to be this strong man or this driven person, but to be honest, I actually don't know where my life is going. I remember I had this conversation with my friend. And she was like, her friend was like, oh, I think it was like really, really inspired. I was like, no, I think no, she was not inspired though. He said like, hey, I used to know where you were going, but right now I don't know where you're going. I said in return, my dear, me too. I don't know where I'm going. And I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Another thing that I've been picking throughout this entire journey has just been really one of like not to put pressure on myself to know when I don't know. Like I've never been here before. I've never been trying to navigate early adulthood or to navigate like my footing in a world I've never lived before, life I've never lived before. This is my first time and it's okay to not know. I remember this nice say last year. While you're going through your journey, and this is what I'm just saying to you personally, and that's the fact that like while you're going through your journey, don't be so pressured to mop up a construction site. Like you know how construction sites can be, how messy and everything can be. And just don't feel that pressure to sort of show up and figure everything every day, every night, every this. Like, bro, you're just gonna kill yourself. Like, just it's okay to know that you don't know. It's okay to find out again, right? Because you know what I said about the whole sparks thing. Lately, I'm bringing them. I'm trying to hold them and also trying to see them again. Like, just to say, okay, so I used to like, okay, so this particular thing, poetry. How does that make me feel right now? How does does it still hit? Why did I start? And also trying new things as well, really. Um, and it's in that place of being the real you rather than, trying to force stuff or trying to like hold on so tightly. I feel like it's in that place of letting go. It's that vibe of like where people say like when you let go of things, if it comes back to you, I don't forget to really say it. If you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, then it's yours. I think I think there's some elements of truth to it. There's actually some elements of truth to it where sometimes it's okay to actually have like a loose grip of things in your life because it really just helps you know things that are really like yours and the things that are holding on to you and the things that you're holding on to so tightly, right? A while back, I took a career break and the heart of it was pretty much just about how I really felt like I was compromising my values. So I took some time off, just solidify like where I was heading and what I wanted to do and how to draft out that life that I had in my heart. And everything was good and fine. I actually felt so excited about the fact that that freedom that I got and going through that learning and all the likes and everything was good. But I think I started realizing, and that was something that I didn't really see from outside in, was the fact that how much we defined ourselves based on what we do and what where we work. And you start noticing that when you start like talking to people and people start telling you, God will do it, God will do it. And I'm like, God will do it. Is he not already with me? Is he not already doing it? Like probably one day I'll just talk about like in depth as to that entire journey and that process and really just about authenticity in another direction. But I remember like the feeling that I had. So those one thing led to the other. I had this gig of working with someone like in like a client in Dubai, and I was trying to like work with this person, and it was so relieving to finally like have. I would say I didn't realize it was something that I was going through. You don't really know that you're feeling things until you get to those moments, and that's why it's really good. I think it was Rich Wilkerson that had this thing that said it's good for you to live a life of outlets so you don't have a life of outbursts. It's good for you to be self-aware. And really that's something that I learned through this journey of that just being authentic about what's really happening on the inside of you because it's actually really influencing everything that you are doing and you don't know. And so I was on a call and I think I was talking to his tailor and then I was like, so where are you now? I've not heard from you in a while. Maybe I choose his accent. He was a Yoruba guy. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi, báwo ni now? Where are you? I've not heard about from you in a while. Where are you now? And I was like, so typically that would have led to like this awkward moment. And I just remember, that's true, I'm working with someone right now. Okay. And so I'm working with this client in Dubai. So I put it in Dubai. And I was like, oh wow, Dubai. Wow, Oremi, that's really good though. So is it like remote? And I was like, yeah, it's remote. Yeah, it's remote. And I remember just feeling good about myself. Uh, just allowing it to ring. You know when you say something and just allow it settle in. So it's like allow it to just sizzle a little bit. So yeah, Dubai, yes. I said what I said. You heard right. And it was in that moment that I actually felt like it took like just being authentic and noticing that I actually felt good by being able to have a response. I actually felt bad when I didn't have, even though like I was aware of what I was doing in that moment and I was very clear cut as to what the journey was about. However, like I was actually under a lot of pressure because of the people around me. And it really just gave me the opportunity to be self-aware, even though I still had another experience as well. The second person was not as impressed as the first. So I just, so I dropped it. However, like it just made me realize that like, okay, David, this is not a value that you have as a person. You're not the kind of person that feels good about yourself because of where you work. The biggest part of your identity is the fact that you're a child of God. The biggest part, and it just allowed me to be more self-aware and allowed me to redesign myself or to teach myself from a more authentic place. And it's still something I'm growing through, but just that level of just being able to acknowledge the ugly parts of myself sort of really just helped me with being able to grow through it and be better in that regard, right? Yeah, putting it all together, this podcast in itself was also a journey of authenticity for me. Cause like, bro, everyone had, especially when you're someone like me, like who kind of like opens up yourself to things, like on people's views, because I feel like that's like the safety in counsel, right? And also you just can validate how much of a good idea you have when you make it a communal thing. And I just really enjoy doing things with people actually. And I open it up and hey God. Ideas of what the name should be. Da, 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 da. ideas of what the logo should be, what the photo should be, what the cover should be, what I should sound like, all the different things. And then you also go through like, so I try to like go through other people's podcasts and just see like, okay, what are things that like create this immersive experience and all of that. And there are the podcasts that just make you laugh all through. The podcasts that bash Nigeria from beginning to the end. There are the podcasts that give you inspirational whatever, inspirational gist. There are the podcasts that motivate you. There are the podcasts that talk about things that are happening in the world. There are podcasts that talk about the faith and teach things. And it's like, you get so occupied in everyone else's voice. And it's like, where is your voice? Right. And I feel like that's also a big pandemic that we're having right now. Like, it's just really the fact of where, like, the place of where people, where, like, there's never been a time when you could hear so many people speak at the same time. I was thinking there was a day I was thinking about, like, legit, I ended the day and I probably heard like nothing less than probably 100 voices that day that I couldn't even remember the things that I heard at the beginning of the day. And I don't think that's only me, to be honest, because I think like with the way the world is, like, can we really like let's not even talk about the week or anything. Can we just end the day and just say like, okay, so these are things that stuck out to me today. These are things that I believe that really fed my heart and it's like a direction or lit a spark on the inside of me. Like, by the time you go here, you've heard what this person is saying. By the time you're switching to the next thing, you've already heard another thing that person is saying. And it's sort of hard for your mind to even have a resting place. But beyond even just having a resting place, it's also super hard for you to actually hear yourself. Like, you know so much of what everyone else is doing. You know so much of what every thing that people are having. And you sort of like don't even have a clue as to what your own voice is saying. Right? And for me, it really just had to be getting back to that place. And that's part of what this step in itself is. It's really just getting to that place of, you know what? I am going to do this and I'm going to do this the way I thought for it to do. I'm going to do it in the David Cromwell way. I believe it to be accepted, right? Because I believe, like, I know strongly that this was not just something that I wanted to do. These are things that people requested for me to do. And I know that as long as I do things my way, there are people that will be blessed by this. There are people that will receive from it. There are people that will thank God that I did it. And to those people that connect to the reason to why I'm doing it, it's worth it. I'm going to live life for what I'm living for and not what I'm trying to avoid. Like, I'm going to know what I'm going for and I'm going to do it because it's rewarding to me. And so, yeah, it was a journey. I did have to learn the balance because in the end, like, I'm not the celebrity of this whole thing because I believe that God gives us our gifts and the things that we do because of people, to serve humanity, to bless people, to make people happy, to give somebody a good day, to make someone smile, to help someone on their journey. Yeah, I think one of the best ways to really look at this was kind of like how in the entire spectrum of everything that happened, right? Or that happens, one thing you realize is how like people never really like you never really eat, like nothing ever benefits from what it does. You realize that like people that sing, as much as you feel good when you sing, the other truth is that like it's other people that like benefit from your gift and you benefit from other people's gift. So it's like just this cycle, like how trees produce oxygen and we take in the oxygen, and how we produce carbon dioxide and they take in the carbon dioxide. So I learned, right? So people were like, oh, these are things that work. Okay, I realized that, okay, at a point I was like, okay, so this is what they love. That's fine. I'm doing this for them. So I'm going to take this. But at the point where I started to drift from what it was, like what the voice was going to be, what it was going to look like, all those things, like the heart of it. Oh, you should rather have this, or you should sound like this, you should have this. I was just like, it's. Hold it. like that. Like that old Oracle advert. I'll put that. I'll put that in the description of this particular episode so you guys can watch it and laugh with me. But yeah, because as much it was a balance, right? Learning how to grow with everything that was said, because in the end it's not about me. But then in the end, like, not straying away from the heart of what all of this is about. And yeah, so I think that sort of brings today's episode to a close. Remember it's fine for you to be yourself. God can handle the authentic you. The people around you can handle the authentic you. Actually, the people around you are actually craving the authentic you. Like they need you to be bare, to be vulnerable, to say the things that you're feeling, because it will give them the courage to be that as well. Because deep down in our hearts, we're all tired of this act and this performance that we all have going on. Like it's a performance with no award shows, right? And that sucks. And so take that step, that first step, and lead with vulnerability and authenticity. The world is better with the authentic you. So I hope my journey gives you the sort of like the tickets to go and do the same. And so I'll keep you guys posted on what the journey has been. But so take this podcast as a step of authenticity for me. And thank you also for taking that step with me. Also, please remember that this podcast is for you as well. This journey is complete because you're going on it with me. And so remember to reach out or to send messages on how it's reached out to you, or certain aspects of the conversation you'd have loved for me to talk about, or whatever it might be. Really, just know that I am open to your feedback, because it's about community in the end. All right, thank you. All right, have a lovely week, and see you next time at the Cromwell's Tavern. Bye.